If you own a rental property in the Phoenix metropolitan area and you live out of state, I want you to try something before you decide to keep it another year. I want you to do some math with me. Not the quick math you did in your head one time, the real math. A famous cosmologist, at least amongst cosmologists, Alexander Vilenkin once wrote, "It is said that an argument is what convinces a reasonable man, and a proof is what it takes to convince even an unreasonable man." No one is accusing you of being unreasonable, but we are all human, and often we get stuck in patterns without much real analysis. And not to say that you're one of them, but most out-of-state landlords have no idea what their money is actually earning right now. Once you see the real number, it might change your mind about whether to sell or to keep the property. Give me a few minutes and I'll show you exactly how to figure it out. Quick note before I start. I'm a real estate agent, not a CPA or a financial advisor. Everything in this video is general information. It's not advice for your exact situation. Please talk to your tax professional and a financial advisor before you make any big decisions based upon this video. With that, let's get into it. Here's the trap almost every out-of-state landlord falls into. You look at your rent check every month and you think it's cash flowing. It's just fine. But cash flowing a little bit is not the same as making good money. There are costs that eat away at your profit that you don't think about because you're not close enough to see them. Think about it. Maybe you pay a property manager to handle things, and that usually runs 8 to 10% of the rent right off the top. Or maybe you're managing it yourself, trying to juggle tenant calls and paperwork from another state, which comes with its own cost, your time. Either way, when something breaks, you can't drive over and look at it yourself. You have to trust a contractor over the phone, and contractors often, as you know, charge more when they know the owner is far away and can't check their work. When a tenant moves out, the house can sit empty longer than it would if you were local pushing to get it rented quickly. And there's always a repair you don't find out about until it's already expensive, because nobody was there to catch it early on, and over time it's just gotten worse. None of these things are huge on their own, but add them up and they quietly shrink your profit every single year. So here's what I want you to do. Stop looking at your return the way most people do. Most people calculate their return based on what they paid for the house years ago. That's the wrong number. What matters is what your money is earning for you right now, based on what your house is actually worth today and how much equity you have right now. Let me walk you through an exercise using simple round numbers. Let's say you bought a house years ago for $180,000. Today it's worth $420,000. Woohoo! You paid the loan down, so you only owe $60,000 on it now. That means you have $360,000 of your own money sitting in that house. That's your equity. Now let's look at what that house actually brings in. Say it rents for $2,200 a month. That's $26,400 a year. Now subtract your real costs. Your mortgage payment, let's call it $6,000 a year. Your property manager, about $2,600 a year. Repairs and maintenance, let's just call it $2,000 a year. 1 month a year sitting empty between tenants, $2,200. Property taxes and insurance, $4,000 a year. Add that all up and your real costs are close to $17,000 a year. Now subtract that number from your $26,400 in rent, and you're left with about $9,500 a year in your pocket. Now here's the number that actually matters. Take that number, $9,500, and divide it by your equity, the $360,000 of your own money sitting in that house. That comes out to just under 3%. Did you hear that? Just under 3%. And by the way, in a stagnant Phoenix real estate market that has not seen price increases in the last 4 years. So in real terms, you're getting 3% return on $360,000 of your own money while you're taking phone calls about a broken water heater from 2,000 miles away. To put that in perspective, money sitting in a plain, boring index fund has historically averaged something like 7 to 10% a year over long stretches of time. And that's without you doing anything at all. Now, I'm not telling you where to put your money in, The stock market doesn't go up every year. That's a conversation for you and your financial advisor. But when your equity is earning under 3% while you're carrying all the risk and the hassle of being a landlord, it's worth asking whether there's a better place to put that money. Most owners have never run the numbers. They just know the house is worth a lot more than they paid for it, and they assume that means it's a good investment. But the house being worth more doesn't mean your money's working hard for you. It just means you have a lot of your own cash tied up, earning very little, while you deal with all the headaches of being a landlord from far away, perhaps. So here's the real question. If someone handed you $360,000 in cash today, would you go buy that exact same rental house again, managing it from another state, and accept a return of under 3%? Now, for most owners, when you put it that way, the answer is no. But because you bought it correctly, luckily went through 2020 through 2022, and you got a good run there, but it's just sitting there now quietly. And most people never ask themselves the question, but because the house was perhaps inherited or bought years ago and had that good run through 2022, or it's just sitting there quietly, most people never ask themselves that question. They keep going because it feels easier than deciding to change. Now, I know there's a lot of people thinking, Matt, if I sell, I'll owe a huge tax bill. And that's a fair worry. If you've owned this house for a long time, you probably have a large gain. And if you've depreciated it, that adds even more to what you might owe the IRS. But that tax bill is not as locked in as most people think. There is a tool called a 1031 exchange that lets you sell your rental and roll all that money into a new investment without paying the tax right now. And if what you really want is to be done being a landlord, no more tenant calls, no more contractor calls, there is an option called a DST, a Delaware Statutory Trust, that lets you keep the tax deferral and become a completely passive investor. You still get income, you just don't get the 2 a.m. phone calls. I made a full video on exactly how that works, so go watch that one if the tax question is what's holding you back right now. Now, to be fair, selling isn't always the right move. If your rental is bringing in strong income compared to your equity, if you believe in your neighborhood long term, or if you've got a great tenant and almost no maintenance headaches, holding on can still make a lot of sense. This video isn't telling you to sell. It's telling you to actually run the numbers before you decide anything. So here's what I want you to walk away with. Take your rent, subtract your real yearly costs, management, repairs, vacancy, taxes, insurance, and your mortgage payment. Then divide what's left by your actual equity, not what you paid for the house years ago. That number tells you the truth about how hard your money is working for you right now. If you want help running that number on your actual property, I'll do it for you for free. Just email me at matt@azabsenteeequity.com and request your equity analysis. I'll show you exactly what your money is earning for you right now. And we can talk about whether holding or selling makes more sense for you. My name is Matt Borkowski, and I look forward to meeting you.